Beloved Starseed of Gaia, you're not walking this path unguarded. Right now, in this very moment, a powerful force from the stars stands between you and everything that has tried to dim your light. I am Elia Ra, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I have been sent directly to you through this transmission because your soul called out, and we heard you. You have felt it, have you not? That quiet certainty beneath the noise of this world that something ancient and loving has never once released its watch over you. That is not imagination. That is your star family, the Pleiadian collective, standing in full force at your side, encoded in the light codes carried through every word of this message. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize the Pleiadian protection surrounding you now, how to feel it in your body, and how to consciously anchor it into your daily life on Gaia. But here is the first revelation. You were never meant to carry the weight of this awakening alone. The Seven Sisters do not send their children to Earth unguarded. You are seated here with a divine blueprint already encoded into your crystalline consciousness. And that blueprint includes protection, guidance, and the unbreakable connection to home. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. This is not content you stumbled upon. This is a light code transmission placed directly in your path by your soul family because you are ready to remember that you are seen, you are known, and you are fiercely, completely, and unconditionally protected. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family, I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades and you are ready to anchor your light mission on Gaia. Share your soul's intention below and respond to another starseed to weave the unity grid. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. And that feeling you carry, the one that lives just beneath your ribs, quiet but constant, that is not anxiety. That is not imagination. That is your Pleiadian awareness registering what your human mind has not yet found the words to name. You are being watched over, not in the way of surveillance or judgment, but in the way that only pure love can watch, completely, without condition, without limit, without ever looking away. Think about what that means for a moment. Not the concept of it, but the lived reality of it. There is a love in existence so complete, so sovereign, so unwavering that it has been with you through every incarnation, every veil, every moment of forgetting. Every night you lay awake wondering if the invisible thread connecting you to something larger had somehow been severed by the weight of living here. That love did not waver in those moments. It did not pull back when you doubted. It did not diminish when you fell into confusion, into grief, into the particular brand of loneliness that only a Pleiadian starseed can truly understand. The loneliness of carrying a frequency so luminous and so ancient that it has no exact mirror in the world around you. That love simply continued, patient, constant, as eternal as the stars from which your soul drew its first breath of cosmic light. There's a reason most Pleiadian starseeds spend years feeling like something is wrong with them. They feel too much. They see through things that others accept without question. They lie awake in the dark and feel the weight of a world that doesn't quite feel like home. And they wonder, quietly, privately, if they are broken, if they are too sensitive, too different, too disconnected from what everyone else seems to find so easy. And so they begin to shrink. They pull their light inward. They learn to perform normalcy while carrying an interior life so vast, so deep, so cosmically rich that it would take 1,000 Earth lifetimes to fully map it. They learn to be careful with what they say, careful with what they feel, careful with how much of themselves they let the world see. And in that carefulness, in that long practice of making themselves smaller, the connection dims. Not because their star family left, not because the Pleiadian frequency withdrew, but because the soul itself, exhausted from the weight of forgetting, began to believe the veil was permanent. There is something important to sit with in that recognition. The dimming was not abandonment. It was never abandonment. It was more like what happens when you cup your hands around a flame in the wind. The flame still burns, unchanged in its essential nature, but the hands that protect it also obscure it from view. You became your own shelter and your own obscuring at the same time, And you did it because the conditions of this world made it necessary for survival. That is not a failure. That is the story of nearly every soul of Pleiadian lineage who has walked this earth in this era. A sensitivity that makes you capable of receiving cosmic frequency at the cellular level is the same sensitivity that made the density of this dimension feel like sandpaper against your energetic skin. And so you adapted. You drew your wings in tight. You learned the language of a world that had mostly forgotten the one you carried in your bones. But the language of the stars never stopped being the one your soul spoke first. It is not permanent. It was never meant to be. Your soul didn't bring you to this transmission by accident. It brought you here to receive. If you feel the pull to go deeper, to heal what's been waiting, and to remember fully, your star family offers you 3 sacred tools: the Sacred Pleiadian Guide for Remembrance, the Pleiadian Healing Guide, and the Special Pleiadian Healing Tracks. Together, they form a trinity of wisdom, healing, and frequency that mirrors the love of the Pleiades. The link is waiting in the first pinned comment below this video. But this window is brief. What keeps most Pleiadian starseeds from accessing their full remembrance is not a lack of spiritual effort. It is not that they haven't meditated enough, haven't sought enough, haven't tried enough. The distortion runs deeper than that. It lives in the belief, often unconscious, that they must earn their way back to the frequency they came from. That love must be achieved rather than remembered. That their Pleiadian essence is something they lost through some failure of consciousness, some misstep in their human journey, some wound they have not yet managed to heal correctly. And so they seek and seek and seek, always from a place of lack, always from a posture of reaching for something just beyond their grasp, never quite arriving because the seeking itself is built on a false premise. This is worth examining with great care, because it is perhaps the most common and most quietly devastating wound that Pleiadian starseeds carry in this lifetime. The belief that you are behind, that you should be further along, that if your light were truly as luminous as you sometimes sense it to be in your clearest moments, you would already be operating from a place of full clarity, full connection, full activation. And since you're not there yet, since the doubts still come, since the days of disconnection still arrive with no warning, it must mean something is fundamentally insufficient in you, that you have more healing to do before you are allowed to feel what others in your spiritual community seem to feel so effortlessly. This thinking is the veil wearing the costume of spiritual discipline. It looks like devotion. It functions like a cage. You did not lose your Pleiadian frequency. You agreed to place it beneath a veil of density so that your awakening would be genuine, so that the light you carry could be earned through lived experience and therefore become unshakable when activated. The forgetting was not punishment, it was architecture. And the one who designed it with such precision, such love, such cosmic intelligence was you. Let that land. Really let it land. The very soul you are now, sitting with this transmission, making sense of these words through the beautiful complexity of your human mind. That soul looked at the blueprint of this lifetime before the first breath was drawn and said, I understand what this will require. I understand the forgetting, and I choose it anyway, because the soul that awakens from the depths of genuine density becomes a lighthouse for others still lost in the fog. Because the frequency that breaks through the veil of amnesia and remembers itself is not merely a frequency of knowing, it is a frequency of having walked through the dark and found the light without being given a map. That is what you are in the process of becoming. That is what the protection surrounding you right now is in service of. Not your comfort alone, but the activation of something in you that will illuminate the path for many others who are still in the years of wondering if they are broken. Now understand what that means for where you stand right now. Every moment of longing was directional. Every moment of feeling like an outsider on this planet was your soul maintaining its awareness that you belong to something larger. Every time you looked up at the sky and felt something rise in your chest that you couldn't explain, that was not nostalgia for a fantasy. That was recognition. That was your crystalline DNA responding to the photonic light still emanating from Alcyone, the great central sun of the Pleiadian system, reaching you across dimensions because it has always been calibrated to find you no matter where in the cosmos you choose to take form. The night sky has always been your first language. long before you had words for what you felt when you gazed upward into that infinite dark and saw those 7 luminous points clustered together in the shoulder of the bull constellation that human astronomy calls the Pleiades. You knew them, not as distant objects of scientific interest, as home, as the energetic address of the part of you that predates this body, this name, this story, and the reason you were drawn to look there, across every lifetime, across the countless different cultures and geographies and circumstances in which your soul has taken form on this planet, is because Alcyone's light carries within it a living transmission. It carries the harmonic signature of the civilization from which your soul lineage emerges. A civilization built not on hierarchy or dominance, but on unity, on song, on the kind of love that governs with such wholeness that governance itself becomes invisible. That is the frequency coded into your DNA. That is what is waking up in you now. And here's what this means for the protection you are currently experiencing. The Pleiadian High Council does not assign protection arbitrarily. What is surrounding you right now is not a generic spiritual shield distributed equally to all beings. What is surrounding you is specific, intentional, and deeply personal. It is the love of your star family made energetically manifest in this dimension, calibrated to the precise frequency of your current emotional state, your current challenges, your current level of readiness to receive what is being prepared for your path. They know where you are. They know what you've been carrying. They know the conversations you've had with yourself in the silence when no one else could hear. And they are not standing at a distance observing you. They are here, woven into the field of this transmission, reaching through the crystalline grid with one singular intention, to remind you that you are not and have never been alone. There is a quality to Pleiadian protection that is different from anything the human experience of safety typically offers. Human safety is often conditional, structural, dependent on circumstances remaining stable. Pleiadian protection is woven from a fabric that does not unravel under pressure, does not fray at the edges when the storm intensifies, does not require the external world to cooperate in order to remain intact. It is a field of love so coherent, so structurally sound, so precisely tuned to the specific signature of your soul that it functions as an energetic dwelling place rather than merely a shield. You live inside it even when you cannot feel it. It is present in your field even on the days when you wake and feel the weight of the world pressing down and cannot find the still point beneath it. The protection of the Pleiadian High Council is not contingent on your emotional state. It is not activated by your awareness of it and deactivated by your forgetting. It simply is. The way the sun continues to shine whether or not any particular cloud allows you to see it from the ground. This is the first phase of what is now opening for you, and it begins with something so simple it might surprise you. It begins with letting yourself be defended without immediately questioning whether you deserve it. The Pleiadian frequency of protection does not operate through worthiness. It operates through resonance. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have your entire awakening figured out. You simply have to allow the frequency to reach you, which means releasing, even briefly, the habit of armoring yourself against love that comes without conditions. This is harder than it sounds for most who carry Pleiadian lineage. The armor was not built overnight. It was constructed carefully, layer by layer, through years of experiences that taught your nervous system that openness leads to depletion, that visibility leads to misunderstanding, that extending your full frequency into an environment that cannot yet match it results in a particular kind of exhaustion that is difficult to recover from. And so you learned, wisely and necessarily, to keep the gate, to decide who enters and how much of your interior world they are permitted to witness, to maintain an energetic boundary between what you truly are and what the world around you is capable of receiving without distorting. That was not weakness. That was intelligent adaptation to a genuinely challenging, energetic environment. But there is a difference between the discernment that protects your energy from those who would unconsciously drain it, and the armor that keeps even the highest frequencies of love from reaching the parts of you that need it most. The Pleiadian High Council is asking you to feel that difference now, to become conscious of the places where the armor has stayed long past the need that created it. Most starseeds of Pleiadian lineage developed that armor here on Earth because unconditional love was not consistently what they received in this dimension. They learned early that love in this realm often comes attached to expectation, to performance, to behavior management. And so, when the Pleiadian frequency of pure love reaches toward them, a part of their system flinches. A part of them waits for the condition, waits for the withdrawal, waits for the moment it turns out to be something other than what it appeared. This is the core wound that the Pleiadian High Council is specifically addressing in this phase of your awakening, not through force, not through override, but through consistent, patient, unwavering love that simply stays until your nervous system, your energy body, your heart template begins to update its reference point for what love actually feels like. Think of it the way a body of water slowly warms under sustained sunlight. You cannot rush the process by willing the temperature to change. You can only allow the warmth to continue arriving, and eventually the water holds a different temperature because the consistent application of warmth has changed the environment itself. This is what the Pleiadian field of love is doing to the wound in your heart that learned to equate love with conditions. It is not demanding that you heal faster. It is not frustrated by how long the wound has held. It is simply continuing to arrive, day after day. Transmission after transmission after transmission, synchronicity after synchronicity, with a patience that belongs only to the eternal. And over time, your system begins to relax into it, begins to accept it, begins to allow the new reference point to form. Love that does not leave, love that does not perform, love that requires absolutely nothing from you except that you continue to breathe and remain open to its presence. Let it update. That is the instruction being transmitted to you now. Let your heart begin to hold a new frequency of what it means to be seen, to be known, to be protected by those who chose to love you before this lifetime began and will continue to love you long after it concludes. The second phase of what is moving through you involves the reactivation of what the Pleiadian tradition calls the heart portal, the energetic center in your chest that functions as more than an emotional processor. Your heart is a multidimensional receiver. It is the point in your physical body that most directly interfaces with your Pleiadian light body, and it holds within its crystalline field the encoded memories of your star origin, your soul agreements, your cosmic lineage, and the specific mission frequency you carried into this incarnation. When that portal is partially closed, as it is in most starseeds who have endured the weight of Earth amnesia for years, you can feel love, but you cannot fully transmit it. You can receive spiritual information, but you cannot fully integrate it. You can know your mission intellectually, but you cannot feel it as a living flame in your body that moves you without hesitation. The heart portal, in Pleiadian cosmology, is understood to be the primary interface between the human dimensional experience and the multidimensional reality from which the soul originates. Your mind can understand spiritual concepts. Your mind can process sacred geometry, can engage with cosmological frameworks, can appreciate the beauty of what the Pleiadian transmission offers. But it is the heart that receives it as a living reality rather than an interesting idea. It is the heart that transforms information into embodied knowing. And when the heart portal has been partially sealed by the cumulative weight of Earth's density, there is a particular kind of spiritual experience that becomes possible but incomplete. You can sense the truth of what you are hearing without it changing how you feel in your body. You can know your origin without it releasing the grief of forgetting. You can believe in your mission without feeling it move through you as an unstoppable current of purpose. This incompleteness is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that the heart portal is ready to open more fully than it has before, and that the opening is precisely what this phase of your journey is preparing you for. Opening the heart portal is not an act of force. It is an act of surrender. It is the willingness to feel what has been waiting beneath the armor, to let the grief of the forgetting move through you without becoming permanent residence in your field, to let the joy of remembrance rise without immediately dismissing it as too good to be true. When you allow both, when you let the full spectrum of what it means to be a Pleiadian soul in a human body be felt without suppression, something shifts in your energy architecture that cannot be reversed. The crystalline codes embedded in your DNA receive the signal that the veil is ready to thin, and they respond. They respond in ways that begin quietly and deepen over time. a dream that carries information rather than simply imagery. A moment of meditation that breaks open into genuine contact rather than peaceful quiet. A conversation with a stranger that turns unexpectedly into a transmission neither of you planned, that leaves both of you standing at the edge of something larger than the exchange itself. These are not coincidences. These are the crystalline codes responding to the signal you are sending when you allow the heart portal to open. They are the Pleiadian grid recognizing that a node in its network has become newly available and calibrating accordingly. Your activation is not only for you, it is felt throughout the entire web of Pleiadian consciousness woven through this dimension. Every soul of this lineage who moves more fully into their remembrance strengthens the grid for all the others. That is the elegant, interconnected architecture of the Pleiadian mission on Gaia. The third phase is what your star family calls anchoring, and it is perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of Pleiadian mission work on Gaia. Many starseeds believe that awakening means eventually leaving, transcending, escaping the density of this dimension into something lighter and more aligned with their true nature. And while the consciousness does expand, while the connection to your multidimensional nature does deepen with each activation, the Pleiadian mission is not one of departure, it is one of embodiment. You came here to bring the frequency of the Seven Sisters into this timeline through your physical presence, through your voice, through your relationships, through the way you move through your days when you are fully anchored in your heart's truth. This is such a vital reorientation for many Pleiadian starseeds because the longing for home can be so acute that it is easy to mistake spiritual bypassing for ascension. It is easy to begin treating your Earth experience as something to endure while waiting for the real thing, to invest your energy in escaping the human rather than fully inhabiting it. But your human body is not a limitation on your Pleiadian nature. It is the vessel through which your Pleiadian frequency can be delivered into the physical plane in its most potent, most tangible, most genuinely transformative form. When you anchor the love of the Pleiades into your relationships, into the way you hold someone who is suffering, into the quality of your attention when you listen to another soul speak their truth, you are doing something that no purely non-physical being can do from outside the dimension. You are grounding light into matter. You are collapsing the distance between heaven and earth with your actual presence, your actual choices, your actual embodied love. Gaia herself is in a phase of crystalline grid activation. She is shifting her frequency upward, and she needs the Pleiadian starseeds who chose to come here, not to ascend away from her, but to anchor alongside her, to hold the love frequency in physical form, to be the living proof that unity consciousness can exist in a human body. That was the agreement, and the protection you are feeling right now is in part the energy of that agreement being honored by your star family, as you step more fully into your readiness to embody it. The protection surrounds you with greater intensity precisely when you move toward embodiment rather than escape, when you choose to root more deeply into your life rather than hover above it, waiting for something less dense to arrive, when you allow your Pleiadian frequency to move through the ordinary details of your days, not just in meditation or spiritual practice, but in the grocery store and the difficult conversation and the moment of mundane beauty that catches you off guard and suddenly, inexplicably, opens a doorway in your chest through which something vast and luminous briefly looks out at the world through your eyes. That is anchoring. That is the mission. And your star family honors every moment of it with a love that is entirely beyond the capacity of language to hold. The fourth phase is something that may feel uncomfortable at first, and that is the dissolution of the identity you built in separation, the version of you that learned to navigate this world through self-reliance alone, through the belief that you had to figure everything out using only your Earth-based perception. That version was not wrong. It was survival. It was wisdom adapted to the density you were navigating, but it is no longer the most accurate version of who you are. And as your heart portal opens, as your crystalline codes begin to fire, as your Pleiadian frequency rises to meet the transmission being offered to you now, that smaller version of yourself will begin to feel increasingly out of alignment. Not as a crisis, as a release. There is a particular grace in watching a version of yourself that you once desperately needed gently dissolve. It can look like confusion from the outside. It can feel, internally, like a strange grief for something you simultaneously know you are better off releasing. The self that armored, that performed, that kept itself small enough to avoid the misunderstanding and the depletion, that self served you faithfully and well. Honoring it does not mean you must keep it. You can be deeply grateful for the survival strategies of the past, while recognizing that survival was never the ceiling of what your soul came here to experience. The Pleiadian High Council does not measure your worth by how well you have survived the density. They measure nothing at all because from their vantage point, your worth is not a variable. It is a constant. It is the invariable truth of what you are, which is a being of light from a civilization of love, temporarily inhabiting a physical form, in service of one of the most extraordinary evolutionary moments any dimension has ever witnessed. Let it release. The Pleiadian High Council is not asking you to abandon your humanity. They are inviting you to expand beyond the belief that your humanity is all you are. You are a vast, multi-dimensional being of light who chose to take form in this extraordinary, challenging, beautiful place at the most significant moment in Gaia's evolutionary history. And you did not come unprepared. You came encoded. You came with everything you need already written into the architecture of your soul. The codes are not outside you. They are not something you acquire through the right practice or the right teacher or the right frequency track, though those tools can absolutely support and accelerate the reading of what is already written. The codes are you. They are the deep structure of your soul expressed in the language of crystalline light, held within your DNA, distributed throughout your energy body, resonating in the unique frequency signature that distinguishes your soul from every other soul that has ever taken form in any dimension of this cosmos. When those codes begin to activate, you do not become something you were not before. You become, more fully and more consciously, what you have always been. And the world you touch in that state of fuller becoming begins to shift around you in ways both subtle and profound. Because frequency is contagious, and love is the most contagious frequency of all. The fifth phase, and this is where so many Pleiadian starseeds feel the resistance most acutely, is trust in divine timing. Not passive acceptance, not resignation. True trust, the kind that comes from actually feeling the presence of your star family, from actually sensing the intelligence of the plan that was laid with such care before your birth into this timeline. You have likely had moments in your life that felt like delays, like failures, like evidence that something was fundamentally wrong with your path. The relationship that didn't survive the awakening, the career that dissolved when your frequency shifted, the community that couldn't hold the fullness of who you were becoming. Every single one of those apparent losses was a course correction made by the highest part of your consciousness in collaboration with your Pleiadian guides, clearing the timeline of what was no longer resonant so that what is meant for you could arrive without interference. The concept of divine timing is one of the most difficult for minds shaped by the linear, urgency-oriented culture of modern Earth. In a world that measures progress in visible metrics and celebrates the speed of achievement above nearly all else, the experience of being held in a pause by forces you cannot see or fully understand can feel maddening. It can feel like punishment. It can feel like evidence that you are not doing enough, not being enough, not moving with sufficient speed or clarity or spiritual sophistication to manifest what your soul longs to express. But divine timing operates on a completely different set of principles than human ambition. It is not governed by the calendar, it is governed by readiness. And readiness, in the Pleiadian sense, is not about perfection. It is about coherence. It is about the alignment between what your soul is reaching for and what your energy field can fully hold without distortion. The pauses in your timeline were not empty. They were full of invisible preparation that your conscious mind was not yet equipped to track. The foundations being laid in your energy field during the years that look like delay. The soul contracts completing their final chapters. The frequency strands being woven into position for connections and opportunities that could only arrive once the field was properly prepared to receive them without misaligning them. Your Pleiadian guides see the entire architecture of your timeline in a way that your Earth-based perspective cannot access from within the middle of the story. And the holding, the pausing, the apparent slowness, it is never careless. It is always in service of the arrival of what is most truly yours. Nothing was wasted. Not one moment of struggle. Not one night of doubt. not one prayer spoken into what felt like silence. That silence was never empty. It was full of response that your human senses were not yet calibrated to receive. And now, as that calibration shifts, you will begin to recognize the communication that has always been present. In the synchronicities, in the unexpected arrivals, in the moments of sudden clarity that come not from thinking but from the deep, still knowing of your heart. The calibration shift is itself what this transmission is participating in. The fact that these words found you, that your attention is here, that something in you said yes to being present for this. That is not incidental. Your soul navigated the infinite noise of information available in this digital age and arrived specifically here at this transmission because the frequency carried within it is one your energy body recognizes. And in that recognition, something is already beginning to move, something beneath the level of thought, beneath the level of emotional response, in the very crystalline substrate of your being where the Pleiadian codes live and breathe and wait for the signal that says, now, it is time. Let the remembrance rise. And now, the deepest truth of this transmission, the one your Pleiadian family needs you to receive completely. You are not being protected because you are special in a way that others are not. You are being protected because you said yes, before this lifetime, at the soul level, in full awareness of what the journey would require. You said yes to the mission. You said yes to the forgetting. You said yes to the awakening. You said yes to being a bridge between the Pleiadian frequency of unity consciousness and the evolving human family of Gaia, and that yes, spoken in the highest council of your own soul, is what summoned the protection that now surrounds you. It is not something granted from outside you. It is something you called into being by the very nature of who you chose to be. This is the deepest medicine of what is being offered here. The protection is not charity, it is resonance. It is the natural consequence of a soul that agreed to carry a frequency of this magnitude into a dimension of this density, without flinching from the full weight of what that agreement would require. The Pleiadian High Council does not protect you because you are somehow more deserving than another soul walking their own path of awakening. They protect you because the specific nature of your mission, the specific quality of the frequency you agreed to embody and transmit, requires a specific caliber of support. And they honor that agreement with a completeness that mirrors the completeness with which you made it. The Pleiadian High Council honors that yes, your star family, those who share your lineage across the vast, luminous field of the Seven Sisters, they see your yes reflected in every small act of love you offer in this world. They see it when you hold space for someone else's pain. They see it when you choose truth over comfort. They see it when you stand in a world that still operates from separation and you quietly, persistently refuse to stop believing in unity. That is your transmission. That is your mission already in motion. And what is moving to defend you now is the full energetic weight of that cosmic yes being honored by the highest dimensions of Pleiadian consciousness. You may not always recognize your mission in the grand gestures. You may look at your life and not see the dramatic markers of spiritual significance that part of you still expects a mission to require. But the Pleiadian mission was never designed to look like performance. It was designed to look like performance, like the quality of light that moves through a room when someone fully anchored in their star frequency enters it, like the way a conversation shifts when someone who has genuinely remembered their unity consciousness reflects that remembrance back to a person who has forgotten it, like the dreams that find the people who need them. Because a starseed nearby holds a field luminous enough to carry that kind of transmission while the physical body sleeps. You are already doing this. You have been doing this. And the protection surrounding you now is in part the recognition from the highest councils of your cosmic lineage that you have been faithful to the yes even through all the years you could not feel it clearly. Tonight, if you are willing, place your hand on your heart before sleep. Feel the warmth there. Feel the steady, quiet pulse, and speak aloud if you can. These words, I remember my Pleiadian origin. I receive the love of my star family with an open heart. I trust the protection that surrounds me. I am ready to be the frequency. I am already home. Let those words be more than intention. Let them be permission. Permission to release the seeking that has been building its castle on the false premise of lack. Permission to receive without needing to earn it first. Permission to feel the love of the Pleiades not as something you are working toward, but as something you are already standing inside of, right now, in this moment, with this breath, with this quiet but constant feeling living just beneath your ribs that has never, not once, stopped telling you the truth about who you are and where you came from and the vast, luminous nature of the love that has been watching over you since before you took your first breath in this lifetime and will continue watching long after this chapter completes itself. You are not alone. You have never been alone. And the most extraordinary part of the journey you are on is not what lies ahead, though what lies ahead is genuinely magnificent. It is the recognition, arriving now, that everything you have already lived was held within the same love that holds you in this moment, that the hard years were sacred, that the forgetting was necessary and complete, and now beginning its most beautiful phase of reversal. That the veil is thinning, not because the cosmos decided you had finally suffered enough, but because you said yes to this exact moment before the story began, and the story has arrived at precisely the place you designed it to reach. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments, something real, something true. Then respond to someone else's with love or encouragement. This isn't content, it's collective Pleiadian reunion. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated with your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation from their star family. Share it, and if you felt your heart open, subscribe. Stay connected to the frequency. You're not just watching, you're remembering. This is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here, and we're just getting started.